we're just going to go through the basic setup of what you need to build the Alpha rocket. What you're going to do is you're going to go grab a pack. They are labeled with your instructor. They'll show you it's the Alpha rocket. It has all the required materials in it. Once you open it, what you're going to find in it is all the materials you'll need to build your rocket. You'll also find the set of instructions here. On the first page, the set of instructions tells you what you should have in your bag, what you should need to build your Alpha rocket. Some other things you're going to need to get from your teacher. You're going to need to get a box knife. Okay, careful, they're sharp. You'll need a ruler, pencil, some sandpaper so you can sand out your wings, hot glue gun sticks, and then you can move on and start building your Alpha rocket. Okay, within the Alpha instructions here that you're going to find step-by-step instructions. So now we're going to lead you through those step-by-step instructions on how to build your Alpha rocket.
Step 1. Prepare fins.
Okay, so continue on to step 1 is we're going to prepare the fins. So when you pull out the fins from the Alpha rocket, this is what they look like. It's some balsa wood. You can see the 3 cutouts within it. Those are your wings. You don't want to break them. They're very fragile. What you want to do is you want to take some type of sandpaper, some material to sand the wings down. The reason we're sanding the wings down is to create less air resistance as the rocket shoot up, and we'll talk about that. So the first thing you want to do is you just want to take some sandpaper, and you want to go over the tops of them to sand them down nice and smooth. Make sure you run your finger over them, make sure they feel nice and smooth. You can work on it a little longer than I am. I'm doing this just to keep the video short for you guys. Flip it over to do the same thing. Sand it down nice and smooth, make sure there's no ridges, make sure your rocket flies straight when it gets in the air. When you're punching them out, you got to be very careful. The wood on the outside doesn't matter, but we want to make sure that your wing comes out nice and clean. Okay, so I've got these little bumps here and there. So there's one wing. I'll go ahead and pull them all out here. Just be careful not to break the wing in half, because this is the only set you get. Okay, if you're looking at the wings, there's all these little barbed edges on them. If you think anything about aerodynamics, that can slow down your rocket. So what you want to do is try to place all the wings together. Okay, stack them up so they all look about the same. And what we really want to do is sand off those rough edges. Okay, easy way to do that. Take all 3 wings together. You can put it on sandpaper, go in circular motion, whatever you want to do. The biggest idea you want to do here is to sand them so they're nice and smooth. You can see they're not smooth yet. I've got light wood over here and dark wood. Okay, keep sanding that off. You want to do all 4 edges, okay, until they're nice and smooth like that. For aesthetic reasons, if you really want to make this look nice, depends on what side you're going to glue to the rocket, but you can take the corners and you can round the corners off a little bit if you want to do that. Okay, so it'll round them off so they're nice and not so pointy, but you want to make sure you do that to all 4 edges.
Next step is to assemble the engine mount.
Okay, after you have sanded down your wings, the next step you want to get your engine tube here. You want to get the adapter ring. You want to get the engine hook. You need a ruler, pencil, glue, and sharp blade. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to get the tube. The directions tell you need to measure 3 specific points up the tube. I've already done that for you. 2.5 inches, 1 inch, 3/8 of an inch. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the razor blade. At the 2.5 inch mark, you're going to carefully cut a little tiny hole on the top of it, which I've already done for you. Then you're going to take your engine hook. Your engine hook has 2 ends on it. Okay, this end that looks like an L goes in to that little slit that you just cut. Goes over those 2 lines you had down there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of glue. Okay, you're going to apply this glue to the engine mount all the way around. Then you're going to take your adapter ring. Okay, the adapter ring will slide from the top all the way down. Now if you see these 2 marks here, that's the marks for the adapter ring. So just slide it on over that glue. It'll sit in place, and step 2 is complete.
Okay, step number 3 is going to be the tube marking step.
Okay, the third step is the tube markings. What you need to grab is your tube, and if you see, I've already taped this together. This is a piece of paper that you will cut from your instructions. Okay, it's just labeled for your 3 fins and the launch lug. What you need to do is you need to cut that, and then, which I've already done, you'll wrap it around your tube. Wrap it around your tube, and then you'll tape it, and you can see these markings here. Okay, there's a couple of markings that are labeled FL or LL. Those are for your fins and your launch lug. Okay, what you're going to do is the instructions tell you to go up to a door frame. You're going to slide that up. Okay, and you're going to follow the arrow, and you can see how this mark flows right down with that line. So let me turn it so it's right. Okay, so LL stands for launch lug. You're going to want to label that one just like that. Draw a straight line. You can use the door frame for that. Here's a fin, straight line. Fin, straight line. fin straight line all the way down. So make sure you get those 3 markings drawn, and that's the next step.
Step 4 will be attaching the fins to your rocket.
Okay, you have the 3 markings on here. You have the one that's labeled LL, that's for your launch lug. Okay, what we're going to attach now is the fins. Okay, so I've got the 3 fins that we sanded earlier. Now when we're looking at the fins, there's a little dot on the bottom of these. That dot goes towards the bottom of the rocket. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, I've got my lines on here. That dot goes towards the bottom of the rocket, so this is the side I'm going to glue and attach. Now you need to attach it directly where the lines are that you drew on here that lets your rocket go straight, so it's not going to veer off and you're going to lose your rocket. Okay, so now we have a hot glue gun. Remember, hot glue is hot, so be very careful when you're using it. Look for our dot. Our dot goes to the bottom, so what I'm going to do is just 3 small drops. 1, 2, 3 small drops, and quickly I'm going to come up to one of my straight lines, and I'm going to hold and attach my wing here. Make sure it's straight up and down. You also want the bottom corners to come together, the bottom of the tube and the wing to come together. It allows your rocket to fly straight. You're just going to hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds. That glue will be dry, and then you're going to move on and glue the other 2 wings on just like that.
The next step is to attach the launch lug.
Step is attaching the launch lug. Even though it's a tiny piece that you'll find in your bag, make sure you do not lose it. It's probably the most important piece that'll go on your rocket. From before, we attached the 3 fins. Those are attached already, which you should have done to your rocket. We went ahead and attached the final 2. You had your 4th line here that we labeled LL for launch lug. That's where it attaches. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this guy right here. Okay? You need to glue it straight on the line. It can't be sideways, otherwise your rocket will not shoot. What happens is this launch lug goes on the launcher, and it slides up and down. Okay, it allows your rocket to take up off of this thing straight, so it goes straight in the air and it's not going to hurt anybody. Okay, so what we need to do to attach that, you can lay your rocket on its side. All you need is a dab or 2 of glue. Remember, hot glue is hot, so please be careful. Just a dab or 2 of glue, and you really need to put this on straight on that line that you drew. Okay, so if I'm looking at it, you want to make it as straight as possible before the glue dries. Don't want it sideways, straight up and down. Attach it, make sure it's firm. That's attaching your launch lug.
Step 6 is to install the engine mount in your rocket.
Moving on to step 6, this is putting the engine mount actually into the rocket. This is where your engine is going to be able to shoot off. Okay, so you can see some glue dripping here. So what I did is I put up about 1.5 inches, I put some Elmer's glue on the inside. Then I'm going to take the engine mount. Okay, on the engine block here, I'm going to add a little bit of glue onto this. This is an important step. This holds your engine. If this isn't glued in, it's going to shoot up your rocket. Your rocket's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so then what you're going to take is this engine mount. You're going to twist and slide it up until it is flush with the edge of your tube. You're going to have some excess glue there, but you want it flush with the end of your tube.
Step 7 is to install the shock cord, which will attach to your parachute.
Okay, so the next step is installing the shock cord. This is the shock cord that will be attached to your parachute. There is a piece of paper that you should have cut out from the instructions again. It looks just like this. It's 3, 2, 1 on it. It's going to be in your instructions that you should cut out. And then you should have your rocket, and you need some hot glue. To install the shock cord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on top of the 3, 2, 1, thick end to the thin end, so 3, 2, 1. Then what I want to do, a little bit dab of hot glue, and I'm going to fold the 1 over onto the 2. Remember, hot glue is hot, so please be careful. Hot glue on the number 3. I'm going to fold it over on top of that again. Press and hold. Okay. That provides a way to mount it inside of your rocket. So from the top of your rocket, this is the bottom, okay, that we just did a little bit ago. From the top of the rocket, I want to install it. I'm going to go about 1.5 inches down. Okay, so what we want to do is take a little dab of hot glue, put it on top of this. Remember, it is hot. Take your finger on the other side and down in your rocket about 1.5 inches. You want to push this down in there. Okay, and then you want to press and you want to hold. So press, I'm squeezing the rocket right now with my shock cord on the other side. Okay, and then you're going to have the big shock cord hanging out on top. That's how you install the shock cord.
Alright, step 8 is to prepare the recovery system, which is attaching your parachute to your nose cone.
Alright, the last step that we're going to show you guys is how to attach the shock cord to the parachute to the nose cone. Alright, so basically what we got to do is, the first thing is we're going to attach the parachute. When you guys get your parachute, what you want to do is you're going to take all the strings and lay them out. Okay, at the very end of this, they're looped around. So you're going to get those 3 loops together basically after you filter it through the nose cone. So basically the first thing I'm going to do is take the nose cone, and I've already knocked out the little piece here. Okay, there's a little piece of plastic in there. You're going to do it and knock that out with scissors. If you can't do it, have your instructor help you or your counselor. I'm going to take these strings and go through that part on the nose cone. Okay, I'm going to grab these strings to where I have the 3 loops. Okay, I've got the 3 loops, and all I want to do is I want to take my parachute and take my parachute through those loops and pull it through. Okay, what that's going to do is going to give me a solid foundation to where that parachute is attached to the nose cone. Okay, so the nose cone is attached to the parachute. Then the next thing I want to do is attach my shock cord. Okay, this is so you don't lose your rocket when you shoot it up in the air. You got to attach your shock cord to the nose cone. To do that, I'm going to string it through. Okay, and all you want to do is tie a double knot. So I'm just going to tie my first knot here. Okay, and my second knot. Okay, I'm going to tug on that just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. You can push on the knot if you want. Okay, now I've got my whole contraption here. I've got my shock cord attached to my nose cone and the parachute.
Okay, the next step is to prepare for flight recovery. We're going to be using some recovery wadding and folding up the parachute and putting it in the rocket.
Okay, so now you're ready, just about to shoot your rocket off. So what we need to do is we get the nose cone and the parachute inside of the rocket so we can launch it safely. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to take some recovery wadding. This can be tissue paper or anything like that. Basically what this is it prevents the fire from burning up your parachute so the parachute works correctly. So what you want to do is you're going to take some recovery wadding. You're just going to put it in your rocket. Okay, just force it down a little bit past where you glued your shock cord before. That prevents fire from getting to your parachute, like I said. Okay, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your parachute, you're going to fold it over, okay, roll it up so it fits into your rocket, take the strings, wrap it around a little bit, okay, and then this can be a little tricky sometimes, but now you want to put the shock cord in here, okay, all the way down, and you're going to have to use your fingers to push this in there, and you can also cut this down a little bit if it's too long and reattach it, which looks like I've done, but we'll get through it. Okay, parachute goes in here as well. Okay, once you've stuffed it all in there, get this little access in there as well. If I can get it. Okay, and then on top of that, the nose cone goes in. I'm just going to leave that out. That shouldn't be sticking out, but nose cone goes in. Now we need to make sure that the nose cone comes out pretty smoothly, so it does come out. If it does not come out smoothly, you might have to do some sanding. Okay?
Alright, the very last step is to prepare the engine so you can launch your rocket. Now you don't necessarily have to do this. A lot of times we'll take care of this at the launch site, but this is how it is done.
Installing the engine so you can launch your rocket. Okay? Acquire an engine from your teacher. There's different levels of rockets. As you go through the class, you'll experience some of those. 2 ends of it. It's a hollow end on one side. Okay, and a narrow end with the powder on one side. This is the actual side that the flames come out to launch your rocket, so this should be the bottom of it. Okay, then we've got a plug and an igniter that you'll need to fit into your rocket. Earlier you installed the engine mount with a hook here. Okay, that's where the engine will lock into your rocket right there. Okay, to build the engine, what you're going to do is you're going to take the small side, take your igniter. Okay, the igniter is this black stuff here, so what you want is to put that in there and fold it over. You're going to take the plug, you're going to push that plug gently into that hole right there, and it should hold the igniter on it. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to slide your engine up into your engine mounts. Okay, and you are ready to launch.